Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of Season Ticket Holders. I'm your host, Dane Lillingston, and I have a new guest for us today. He's an Australian Associated Press reporter, a Penrith Panthers member, and maybe the tallest man in rugby league media, Jasper Bruce. Welcome to the show, mate. How are you?
Thanks, Dane. Geez, yeah, I'm trying to think who might have me covered there. Cameron Mee from NRL.com's quite tall. George, one of my colleagues at AAP, he's pretty. There's a couple tall timbers. Clearly failed athletes in the sports journalism cohort.
Did you play basketball?
I was an underwhelming basketball guy, I would say. I obviously I'm tall. That's kind of where the ability kind of ended with genetics. Like, I can run okay. My shot's all right. Like, I do mixed social netball now, and I'm good enough for that. But
that's
like, I think my basketball career peaked in like the 15 Ds at Sydney Grammar. So shouldn't have admitted the score. But no, as in, like it was pretty low level stuff. So yeah, unfortunately.
Well, my basketball career never took off, mate. So I don't take it too big a compliment because everyone's taller than me. So
point guard,
mate.
Point guard.
Yeah, Steph Curry, man. Mate. When I get people on for the first time, what I like to do is for you to tell us why you love the Penrith Panthers and what got you into rugby league and how your whole love of the sport started.
Matt, great questions. I can tell you're a journo. My love of the Panthers, people always say like these days, are you a glory supporter? Did you start going for the Panthers because they've suddenly become so good? But actually, the answer is kind of yes, but with an asterisk, because I kind of started going for them when I was 6 years old when they won in 2003. Back then, obviously, I didn't really grow up in a rugby league family. My dad's from Melbourne, and mum has a cursory interest in it. Kind of watched the Eels when they were good in the 80s, but not really a rugby league household. So I kind of just started getting into it, mostly with the footy Tarzos in the chip packets, and then there was also the rugby league. Yeah, like the rugby league video games that were big around then as well. The ones that Vossi commentated on. I think they're actually bringing out a new one of those soon.
Mate,
so
I played Rugby League 4 just to get ready for Origin the other day.
It's I hope they don't make the new one too good. That's my only fear. Like, kind of the charm of the original ones is they're a bit bad. You know what I mean? Just the quality and the commentary. Like, it couldn't say my last name's Bruce, and it couldn't say. It's like Gower passes to the 5/8. It couldn't. Didn't know how to say
making your own players. I never did that.
Well, yeah, of course. You always make the character that's you, and he's 10 out of 10 for every skill, and you put him in at halfback, right?
I just play the Broncos in Queensland. I don't make my own players, mate. I just the whole team. Anyway, sorry, I took sidetracked from your story. I did see the trailer. I don't know. It looks a bit dodged, so I reckon it probably will be the same. Who knows? Rugby league. I'm not expecting too much.
Man, New South Welshman, we just don't get rugby league video games. Clearly, making my own character. Yeah, so kind of, to be honest, those things are a bit of a combo, and the footy Tarzas and the video games as a little kid. And I grew up in the hills, which is kind of northwest, and these days, I probably think of it as Parramatta territory, but when I was a kid, I remember asking my mum who our local team was, and she said Penrith, and it's like the part of the hills we were from, it's not really that Kellyville sort of heartland, it's really Parramatta territory. It's a little further out, so it's probably line ball, Parramatta, Penrith, and yeah, by the time I kind of figured out that all the other kids at school were Eels fans, I was in too deep, and Reece Wessel was my favourite player, and yeah, it was kind of just had to go from there. So yeah, but anyway, it's been good the last few years. It was pretty tough when I was a little kid and right into it, but yeah, it's worked itself out.
I was going to say the big question. Obviously, everyone hates you guys now because you have won 4 in a row. But yeah. I mean, do you even are they still special when you've won 4 in a row? I mean, obviously we're witnessing one of the all-time great rugby league sides at the moment, but as a fan, do you get over it, or is it just everyone, especially how do you feel?
The thing that's hard about it, I think, is that my I'm 27, so my sort of getting into rugby league journalism as work has kind of coincided with the Panthers becoming good. Like, my first proper year doing it was kind of end of 2020 into 2021. So I kind of don't really know what it's like to work in it when they're bad, other than the start of this year, which I'm sure we'll get into. But it's a funny one because I don't know how much of, if I am desensitized a little bit, how much of it is the Panthers being good for so long and me getting over it. Not that I'm over it, but you know what I mean? If it's that, or if it's the nature of working close to the team where you do inevitably find your relationship with it changes a little bit. But no, I still want them to win. I'm better at keeping quiet in the press box when they do something really good. I think I can rein my emotions in a bit better, probably than what I used to when I was first starting in our line of work. But yeah, I wouldn't say I'm sick of winning. I'd like to think I'm not desensitized, because now that I have seen the other side, where it's like 5 or 6 weeks of just diabolical, terrible at the start of the year, maybe that's renewed my gratitude. So I'm sorry, that's probably a really roundabout answer to that question.
That's okay, mate. And just so we all know too, you are a massive fan, because you do have the license plates. And I think if anything screams big fan, it's the license plates, right?
Yeah, well, so I had this thing where when I was in high school, I used to always say that if the Panthers won the premiership before I was 25, I'd get a tattoo. And I was like, it's never going to happen. Terrible. They were always just like, when I was in high school, I think they were just in that Anthony Griffin years, like 5th to 12th sort of bracket, just hovered in there. Anyway, and then they won in 2021, and I think that was the last year of that window. I think I was 24, and I just couldn't think of a classy way to get the Panthers inked into my body forever.
Yeah, it sounds classy already. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And like, yeah, even there, I thought there are some clubs where you could maybe, like even a Bronco, you get a horse tattoo. It's not, you know what I mean? Like it's not.
I'd get a Bronco maybe on my butt. I don't know.
Yeah, but like even a panther, it's so specific. Like it's such a specific big cat. You know what I mean? It's not like even a tiger. It's more like no one just has a panther. So anyway, I sort of wussed out, and I've got license plates instead. So
There you
my
go. I
card.
didn't know that story.
Yeah, well, I'm still like, if someone presents me with a classy way to get the Panthers tattooed onto me, like I will consider it. I'm open to anything, but yeah, at this point I just haven't, like even like a panther paw print, like it's a bit tacky, isn't it? Like I don't know what the best way to do it is. So anyway, maybe some of your loyal listeners can message some ideas in.
I was about to say, shout out is now on for Jasper, guys. Let us know on Instagram, TikTok, whoever you want. We need a classy panther tattoo. The call outs out there. And mate, I do just want to, before we get into this season too, one more question about the grand finals. Please don't tell me your favourite win was 2023. Because that's obviously still very close to my heart here, and heartbreaking. I was at that grand final, my first ever grand final as a fan, and to witness Nathan Cleary steal the unlosable game for the Broncos still hurts. But which one is your favourite?
I think I am going to say 23, but I do reckon 21 and 23 are almost on level pegging for me, because I think like if they don't win in 21. I think the narrative of this whole era really changes, because they're that team that's won 2 in a row, and they probably, they blew the chance to win in 2020. Now they've blown it in 2021. Like it was such a gritty win. Like I think in terms of memorable individual grand final moments of the 4 seasons, maybe the Dylan Edwards tackle in the second one, but I feel like that Stephen Crichton intercept is the most iconic grand final moment of the 4 years. So like I will say 2023, but I reckon 2021 is a close second, I would say.
All right, I'll take that. I still have nightmares of Nathan Cleary stepping the Broncos to win it, like to this day. That's how much it hurts, mate.
Yeah.
Look, and on this whole, we're not even going to go more into it. And on this whole dynasty that you guys are currently building and that are on, I guess, do you trace it back to when they brought Ivan back in 2018? Like, how do you sort of pinpoint? Obviously, the junior nursery, we know all about that, and just how much young talent's been coming through. You've basically milked it dry now, you'd think. But where do you, as a fan, sort of pinpoint the renaissance of the Panthers?
It's a tough one, isn't it? Because you could almost go like further back to when Gus kind of joins in. And I don't know what year that was, 2011. It's gone back a lot. It's gone back a long time.
Was that his 5-year plan or something?
Yeah, the 5-year plan that ended up being 20 years. It's funny because they're always that sleeping giant, weren't they? The Panthers, that it's like, oh, they got all these resources, all these like local products. Like, why aren't they good? And then kind of they became good in this like tsunami of just the perfect storm of Nathan comes of age, Ivan's back there as the coach. Like I think the 6 again era really suited a young team, like a young fit team like them. Guys just like, James Fisher-Harris just becoming good right at the right time, or whatever it was, or like they always talked about how Zane Tedovano set the training standards, and then Fisher-Harris kind of took over from that, and then that was when they really kicked. I don't know. I guess all that is to say is there's a real perfect storm of good stuff that happens around 2020, 2021. You probably could take it a little further back for when Gus first arrived. That 2019 season, even then, you sort of see like the tremors. I don't know what the opposite of aftershocks is. The before shocks of earthquakes, where like they debut a few guys that year. I think Toto and Crichton both debuted that year, and a few other sort of seminal players. And like towards the end, from memory, they started that season quite poorly, and then kind of figured it out towards the end. So I guess you pinpoint that sort of end of 2019 is when they sort of started figuring it all out. But yeah, you almost can go back to before that with Gus arriving, can't you?
Oh, another thing to tick Gus off. Now he's doing the Bulldogs. We'll see if that all pays off, mate. Now, heading into this season, obviously you were coming off 4 in a row, and then things really sort of fell apart for the first time in this little era that you guys are having. I think rock bottom looked like round 12. You lost 25-6 to the Knights. They were last. I think they were calling it one of the most dramatic drop-offs in rugby league history. Last midway through the season after coming off that. And then since then, Origin period, which you would have thought would hurt you even more, it's actually gone the other way. You've now won 5 in a row. So how do you sum up this little resurgence now that you've had mid-season?
Yeah, it's been such a weird one. Like, I remember watching that Knights game and kind of just going, they couldn't afford to be this bad this late. That it's like, if you were going to have your losses or whatever, you needed to kind of... Yeah, you needed to have figured it out by now because they were always going to lose so many players in this Origin period. And I just think a bunch of stuff has kind of started to click. Like, almost to answer that question about how you sum up this last 5 games, you almost have to look back at what went so wrong to begin with. And like the goal line defense was just shocking to begin the season. And obviously, like Jerome Luai and Fisher Harris, we all knew that they were going to be big losses. Probably the 2 biggest losses of this like gradual talent drain that they've had to deal with every year. But I think like they clearly struggled for the muscle of Fisher Harris and the heart of Luai, I think. But yeah, I think that like I was actually talking to Isaiah Yeo yesterday after the Eels game in the sheds about this, and he said that Knights game was the turning point, that it was like, okay, like enough of this now. Training standards apparently lifted a lot after that game. Like there was a big rev up. I wrote a story about it. I think like Mitch Kenny and a few of the senior guys who weren't in Origin camp kind of after that game just pulled everyone together and was like, listen, we got to start doing this now if we're going to do anything this year. And I just think like a few things that were always going to take time, like that time has now been taken. You know what I mean? Like Casey McLean, probably a bit of a tough start to the season. I think it's easy to forget, like with the way Penrith's just been spitting out junior talent across these years, it's easy to forget that some guys who are 18, 19 maybe take a little bit of time to adjust to the NRL. And I think there were the growing pains, and I don't think he's the finished product, but I think he's definitely become a worthy first grader now. I think they've really found something in Luron Patea coming off the bench. I think Moses Leota, after a pretty tough start to the year, has started to figure some stuff out as that sort of new forward pack leader. Yeah, I just think it feels like the other one as well, actually, is kind of getting used to playing at CommBank. I think that took them a little while, not having that Penrith fortress anymore.
That's a good point, having that home crowd advantage and everything.
Yeah, and I think that really kind of went under the radar, I think, in the off-season about we knew they were going to lose Luai, we knew they were going to lose Fisher Harris, but they lost their, like, heartland, you know? Like, that is a tough place to play out in Penrith. 20,000 crazy Panthers fans screaming, freezing cold in winter. The Panther sound effect, you know, teams quacking their... Yeah. But one of the guys, I was talking to one of the guys, actually this is off topic, but I don't know if you know Jai in the Panthers media team. His dad is the guy that presses the button.
Oh, wow. What a job.
The Panther sound effect. I think he does other stuff as well. I don't think it's his only gig. But
that's a great gig.
Because it's tough. It's a big responsibility, right? Because if you do it too much, it's like, you know,
you can't fuck it up.
You can't have donuts for dinner every night. You know what I mean? You need to save the sweet treat. So
you don't overdo the Panthers. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. How do we get onto that?
No, that's right.
Sorry, I was kind of just was talking in circles a bit there. Sorry, Dan.
No, I liked it. And I think you answered a lot of what I was going to say anyway. That's all right. I do have a point because I think I got to a game there as a fan. It was probably Panthers Eels, maybe 2 years ago. It was a bit of an upset. Parramatta got them. And I can just tell that atmosphere, what it's like. Obviously, you know what it's like. But I was there as a fan. It was winter. It was cold. It looked like a tough place to play. You were really nice and close to the action. I think I was on the side grandstand. And it is like a bit of a fortress, right? And I can tell, like, that's a good point you make about no one's probably mentioned that as much about playing them at CommBank. It's not the same thing. Did you guys even need a new stadium? That was a political promise, right?
This is the thing. Like, I really hope they don't lose that suburban charm, because I think that's where rugby league lives, right? Like, I like Suncorp, like a full Suncorp. Don't get me wrong, great vibes, but man, like, we need these like suburban stadiums that, yeah, okay, maybe the bathrooms are a bit old and crappy. Yeah, okay, like there's, you're hugged in a bit tight to the people next to you, but like, I feel like that's where rugby league's at its best. You know what I mean? So, I like, from what I've seen and heard about it, like, I think it's kind of doing up the grandstands on like the long end of the park, if that makes sense. So I think it'll still be like a hill and stuff like that. But yeah, like I hope they don't kind of lose the soul of the place. But it's a funny one, hey, because I think on paper, like, people go, oh, Penrith, Parramatta, like, if you're not a Sydney person, you go, oh, it's Western Sydney. It's like, that's a long way for fans to come from Penrith. Like, I don't live in Penrith, but like, the crowds to begin with were pretty like low for Panthers games at CommBank. And it's like, well, it's not like it's just around the corner. So yeah,
100%.
they struggled to make it into a fortress to begin. I think they're getting better at it. Like, it feels like they're kind of more at home now, but yeah, definitely to begin the season was a bit tough, I think.
No, that's a good point. And like driving out to Penrith, obviously I'm in Stanmore in the west of Sydney. Like I've drove out there once. Yeah, it's like what's an hour, pretty much from a lot of places on this side of Sydney anyway. But you're right, and I think the fans have slowly picked it back up now, right? I mean, they did. Well, they boo Nathan Cleary yesterday as well, but that was because he's on the bench.
Man, well, that was technically an Eels home game, that one. So I think I like to think that was the Eels fans booing Nath, not the Panthers faithful. But
do you think it might have been some Panthers fans in there?
No, surely not. Surely not, mate. Unless there were maybe some Queenslander Panthers fans. Maybe it's a bit of a. I don't know how many people are in that Venn diagram.
Hey, we're Queenslanders. We're not rubbing it in still, all right, mate. You lost the unlosable series, and we're over it now. We're not going to boo you. We're not going to boo your champion, all right? I'm not even going to give you a Queensland. I've said that all week. Everyone in the office hates me, so.
I was actually thinking about this, mate. You brought me on. Like, I was listening to, I think it was the post-Origin wrap-up that you did. Like, you're bringing on New South Wales fans to gloat at us in a public forum. It's smart from you. I'll give you that.
Queenslander, mate. It's that time of year. We got to soak it up. Good content. No, you're right. So, and just, for people who don't know so that you're basically out of that stadium for this year, right? They refurbing, doing it up. I think there was a federal seat in contention, and that was basically like the local member sort of promised them this stadium to win his seat. That's basically what I understand, right? And then back next year?
I think it's 27, I'm pretty sure. I think it's
another
2
year,
years they're out of there. Yeah, because that's why they were like, this year they were really keen to go to Vegas, so that could count as a home game. They got a game in Mudgee. They had the Bathurst one. Like, they're just kind of doing whatever they can to like spread the home games out. Like, they've always been pretty good at taking a game to the Central West here and there, but I think this year, like, they got two there. They got they had the Vegas game. Magic Round was a home game for us as well, I think. And I'm pretty sure it goes into next year too. So that's going to be
I was having a quick Google, and I think that on the Panthers website back in April, they would say ready for operations in 2027. But the AI Google research said 2026. So
I don't trust that yet. Hey, like, I'm not a big AI man as someone that writes as their job, but like, I feel like it's inaccurate often, I find, but it's like inaccurate, but like has good grammar and is well mannered. So I'm kind of like, you seem polite trustworthy, robot. But you're just lying. Exactly. Polite robot.
Mate, I have been using ChatGPT for everything lately. In the last few weeks, I have just switched. Not for anything to do with our work or anything like that, but for like gym routines, meal plans. If I have problems, like health problems, it's my physio at the moment. I've done my hamstring, mate. So I go for a physio plan. Dude, I don't know, mate. I can't do the darting at OzTag anymore. It's pretty sad.
Is that how you did it? Was it OzTag injury? Pulled up sore?
I think it was general overload. I do jiu-jitsu, boxing, running, gym, and OzTag. So I got jiu-jitsu tonight, actually. So it's a lot.
Just as well, you didn't have a basketball career. You put us all to shame with all those different sports. Can't
That's
have
right, mate.
basketball as well.
I'm still a white. That's what, mate. Honestly, I played every sport as a kid, and basketball was just one that I never even attempted to pick up. I can't even dribble the ball properly. It's terrible. And I'm pretty sporty, but no basketball, mate.
Don't
Um,
worry, mate. I wouldn't make much of a jockey myself, so evens out. Evens out.
you know, one person at a poker table once said to me, like, "Are you a jockey?" and like was being real serious. But it's like the most like insulting question you probably could have asked me. But that's fine. I mean, good money, right? If I get to the top.
Yeah, and I think Billy Slater was an apprentice jockey, or at least worked in that world a little bit in his early days. So you'd be in good company anyway.
You're right, mate.
Two legendary Queenslanders. Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly what I was going to say. Yeah, I could have been a fullback. I probably would have been a hooker for Queensland. And Mum wouldn't let me play rugby league until I was 12. Anyway, it ruined my career. Mate, just on the Panthers, I did want to talk to you about Nathan Cleary. That's obviously the guy we all talk about, or Mary Fowler's partner, however you want to talk to him. Now, he Origin. Now, he's copped a lot. I was listening to all the stuff come out on Thursday. I know New South Wales... Not going to blame it all on you guys, but very quick to turn. It went from game 1 Dynasty was about to begin to game 3. Laurie Daly's out and Nathan Cleary can't play in rep level. But this Nathan Cleary rep level story has been around for a little while. I was going through the stats just before about his Origin career. I think he is. I did write it down. Is he 7 and 8? No, he's 8 and 9 in Origin games, but he's lost all 4 deciders. That's what I was reading. But I don't think it's Nathan Cleary's problem. I think Mitch Moses is the cleared half for New South Wales when he's fit and ready. But I think Nathan Cleary is still the number 2 when it comes to rep level. But what have you made of that whole debate around him and his future of his rep career?
Yeah, I think it's a shame. Whenever we question a champion, right? And I think at this point he is a champion. He's a 4-time premiership winning halfback. He's done it everywhere. And he has done it for New South Wales, not in, admittedly, deciders like this, but he's had a couple. I think he's been man of the match twice in Origin. He's had a couple of really big wins that he's kind of been the guy. I think the 2022 second game in Perth, I'm pretty sure, I think it was like 44-12, something like that. He was the guy that day. And I think it was actually, I'm going to steal his point because he's a great rugby league mind, but Nick Campton from the ABC was saying the other day that he's a guy that bases so much of his game, I think, around reps and effort and mental practice, and he's so fastidious. You know, we've seen him. He's the last guy training, the first guy there. He's that sort of dude. And Origin's kind of the one part of the game where you can't always do that for everything because it's this slapdash thing. Guys are thrown together for a week before each game. I mean, they were lucky this year. There was continuity, sort of, but even then we had Mitch Moses come out of camp with that injury. The team's changing slightly around him. So it is kind of the one area where you can't be that guy who just works hard and then becomes amazing because of that. You know, at least not with every facet of the game because the people around you change so much and you just don't have a lot of time with them. But, you know, it's incontrovertible fact at this point that he has not won a decider. And I don't think we should be calling for his head just yet. I wonder whether his role changes next year, whether if it is a Mitch and Nathan combo, whether we do maybe see Mitch have a bit more of a dominant role. I think at this point, when fit, Mitch Moses has to be in that halves combination. Jerome Luai probably didn't do himself too many favours with the way he played in the third game this year either. But also, we just don't know what things look like in May next year when the coach may not even be Laurie Daly, is sitting down to pick this team. We just don't know. Maybe Nathan Cleary has somehow gotten even better. And maybe, hopefully not, but maybe every other halfback option's out with an ACL injury. Touch wood, that's not the case. But, you know, so I do think like Nathan can't do Origin, he's not up to it, blah, blah. Chat is a little premature given we're mid-July and we won't be picking an Origin team again until, mid-May. So, and you know what, it did hurt just as a Panthers fan, but just as like a fan of the game generally, to see how devastated he was after game 3. I think, Dane, you'd probably attest to the fact that he's one of the most willing and generous media talents we have in the NRL in terms of always puts his hand up for an interview, always happy to have a chat. But we were kind of trying to talk to him in the sheds the other day and he was like, I just need a minute. And he was there with his mum and his dad, and he was pretty devastated. So I was glad to see him bounce back against the Eels on Sunday. But I guess all that is to say that yes, we should question his record, but no, I don't think we should call for his head just yet.
No, and I agree, mate. As a Queenslander, like you mentioned a bit there, like I have plenty of time for Nathan Cleary. I think he's a great guy. I think he's a great representation and ambassador for rugby league. I know what he did to the Broncos in that 2023 grand final. He put that team on his back, man. Like he won that game. That was an all-time grand final, 20 minutes performance. It was incredible. I was there live watching it. I have plenty of time for Nathan Cleary. I did just see he has sort of broken the silence a little bit more today. One of his quotes was he doesn't know if he'll ever fully get over it, that Origin loss. And he did just post on Instagram just a short time ago as well. He said, failure is filled with embarrassment, self-loathing, and hurt. It is also a test of character, and in amongst that test is a chance to stand up, face it, learn from it, and get better. We move onwards and upwards. Thank you for all your support. So, he's obviously taken it to heart a lot, but I do have no doubt that he will bounce back. And in my mind, fully fit, like we said, we can't tell in May with the crystal ball. Moses and Cleary are your halves for New South Wales game 1.
Yeah, I think so. I'd love to see Isaiah Katoa somehow get a go, and maybe there's an injury, maybe he's just catapulted in. But if he keeps going the way he's going, I just would love to see him in Origin. And whether that's he's a 14 and you push Nathan to hook up for 20 minutes or something, I don't know what it is, but I just think there's got to be some way that we get this guy in Origin in the next little bit. And I really hope it's not a case of he shoots the lights out for 4 years, but because Nathan and Mitch are still kind of there, he's having to wait. Unless
style.
Well, yeah, yeah, exactly. I don't know. I hope that guy gets an Origin cap before those two guys retire, and I'd love to see what they could do as a trio. Whether we'll get that chance, I don't know. And Nathan to hook up, I don't know how much hooker he's played since junior days at Penrith, but yeah, we'll see, I guess.
Interesting, mate. Interesting. The other player I did want to talk to you just from the Panthers. I had someone on the podcast the other day, very high on Brian To'o, and saying that basically they thought he's building a case to become just about one of the greatest wingers ever. How do you sort of see his game? Do you think he's on that trajectory, that path? Because, mate, watching him for Origin, he's not the biggest guy. He finds a way. He burrows over. Those post-contact meters are incredible for a man of his size and position that he plays. And he can finish, and I love watching him. He's probably just about my favourite Panthers player to watch. What do you make of him? Do you think he's on this path of one of the greatest of all time?
Yeah, I think it's a really interesting one because I don't know about you, Dan. I reckon that in terms of the way the game has evolved in my time watching it, I feel like the winger's role has changed the most. I feel maybe you can say fullback, like Slater, like Hodgson, those guys, like the way they played at fullback, but I think in terms of what the winger is now expected to be able to do, I feel like it's really changed. The yardage stuff, the finishing, you watch backup wingers, someone like Karapani or someone at the Broncos or guys like that, they can finish amazingly in ways that if wingers were finishing like that 15 years ago, you'd throw your eyeballs out because you'd assume they'd lied to you because it was so crazy. You'd never seen anything like it. You know what I mean? Every winger can finish like that now. And I think just because, partly because of the role of the winger is now so much bigger and so much more pivotal, in the backfield, you're finishing, aerial stuff, obviously still have to be fast. I think he is on that path. And that's not to denigrate, the wingers of the past or anything. I just feel like the game is asking so much of that position. And for me, he is the guy who is answering those demands the most completely. And it's a testament to him that we always ask questions oh, is he too short? Oh, that story gets done so often. I can't think of a game where it's been an issue to the point of losing the game. And that's crazy when you think that most clubs have at least one guy who is a 6'4", tall drink of water, athletic, looks like a, high jumper sort of dude on the wing. And he just he can match them all. Zach Lomax, Xavier Coates, all these guys, yeah, I love his work ethic. I love his toughness. And again, toughness and wingers, probably not a combination that we used to make too much. But yeah, I think he is on that path. I don't know who else he'd have damn, maybe I guess one of the Morris boys, like those guys did a lot for the position, I guess, like Brett Morris, I guess.
No, I like Brian Toto, man. I think he is on that path. I totally agree. I love a short king. Fits my profile, and it's just the way it's the way he plays, man. Like I said, I love watching him play, and he does it at every level. You know what I mean? Like he goes to that Origin arena, and he's just like Clubland. You know, you don't really see a difference. He's always up to that stage, you know, and that's what I love seeing. Like he's just an absolute killer. As a Queensland, always scared of him when he's got the ball in Origin, and I just love his work rate. You know, like he just doesn't quit. The way those little legs pump, man. You know, like he has that power, that strength, and yeah, I love watching him play. I totally agree that he's on that path, and another reason why you guys have been so good. Looking to this season, mate, we're obviously well past the.
Quickly, Dan, sorry, I don't want to cut you off. Do you reckon he was New South Wales' best this Origin series? Because I reckon he was right up there.
Yeah. No, I agree. And the funny thing is, I remember watching Game 3 and thinking he was a little behind, but he was still one of your best. You know, like I think he did have a. You know what I mean? Like he had he's still coming in with a bit of an injury, that knee issue that he brought into the game. Him and Payne Haas didn't really train up until the Game 3. But yeah, I think across the 3 games, I'd pretty comfortably give it to him, man. Because I think he was just consistent. You know, like you just know what you're going to get. There's no real drop off, and was a hat trick in Game 1?
In Game 2, yeah.
Game 2.
I think in Game 2 hat trick, yeah. I almost reckon, like, if you're doing, like, the old school 3-2-1 MVP points for the series, like, Dearden gets you 3. I don't know who goes 2. But I reckon Toto could almost be your 1 point. You know, like, he was so good in that series, I reckon. But, yeah, anyway.
No, I agree. He's way up there, and very impressed with what he's been able to do. Mate, looking at this season and looking ahead now, because we're at the business end. Origin time's over. The big buys are all done. We're at the business end. Now, you guys are, what is it now, 6th? After that round just gone, 1 point behind the Broncos and 5th, I'll just remind you. And the top 4 is obviously a little bit broken away at the moment. There's the Warriors that jump 4 points into the Bulldogs, Storm, and Raiders up top, who look pretty set for the minor premiership. The top 8... is looking set. I mean, you've got the Sharks, Roosters, and Sea Eagles from 7th to 9th, all on 22 points. The Dolphins down in 10th on 20. The Dragons back in 18. And then interesting battle for the Wooden Spoon too, because there's a few teams in that battle. Yeah. Realistically now, looking ahead, what's a pass mark? Do you think they stay in the 8? They're guaranteed for finals at this rate. Obviously 5 in a row, so great run at the moment. How do you sort of see these final, 7 rounds playing out?
Man, I don't know that they're guaranteed finals just yet. Just with the nature of this season, how close it's been, you know. And I think it's the kind of year where we've seen a couple wins can lift you up high, but I reckon it also means that a couple of losses can push you down low if you're not careful. They've got a really favourable draw, like even just the next few weeks. I don't think they play a team currently in the top 8 until the Storm in mid-August. I think they've got 4 games before then. So you'd reckon if they win all those 4. I think in that run, they've got Newcastle. I think they got the Tigers. They got Souths this week. Like, they should win all of those games. And I think if they do, that should be enough. I think the 4 is still, again, what a weird season. It's still probably realistic for them, particularly the way that the Warriors, like, they've now lost Metcalf and Barnett for the season. Like, I expect they may dip a little bit if they're not careful. Broncos are looking really good for top 4, I think. I think in terms of every team in contention, they have one of the highest ceilings, I think. I think it's just whether they can... I mean, I don't have to tell you, but it's whether they can piece it all together. But
all the way, mate. Grand final tickets. No, not yet. But,
but yeah, like I reckon, like you listed off the teams there, I think everyone above the Dragons currently is in that mix. And there's going to be a couple teams that are pretty devastated to miss out on the 8 this year, I think. I reckon... Oh, man, I could see Manly. I could see the Sharks missing out. Hate to say it for those 2 very proud Sydney clubs. But, yeah, I just think the Dolphins when they're on and the Roosters when they're on, the Panthers, Broncos, like I feel like those 4 teams, their best is better than what I've seen from the Sharks and Manly this year, I think. But, yeah, I mean, I'd love to see Penrith sneak into the 4. I reckon... like a 5th or 6th even would be a really good result. I mean, honestly, man, even just making the finals after that 1-5 start, if you had told me they're going to still make finals, don't worry about it, I would have gone, sweet. I don't care if it's squeaking into 8th position and having to play the Warriors in Auckland. I'll take it, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would love to see a rematch of the Broncos Penrith Grand Final. That would be very, very sweet. And this time, history is corrected.
Ezra
But
Man revenge game. 4 tries for
yeah,
Ezra.
what a cap off if that were the way it goes after the season he's had. Man, the Bulldogs fan gave it to him the other night, man. Jeez, that
Yeah.
was
They
intense.
hated him.
And he kills it, man. He seems to live up to that pressure, which is what I love to see. He doesn't go the other way, doesn't shy away from it. Do
I
you
wonder how long he's
think?
going to top that for.
I hope it's not too much longer. I mean, I've spoken about it here before, but like, it's out of his hands. He can only do the punishment in front of him. That's my view. It's always been my view. Like, it was on the NRL and the courts to come down harder on him. It is what it is, and I think obviously we're not going to boom it like Brisbane people, but I think they just got to lay off it. Like, what else can he do at this point? Like,
Yeah.
and by all reports before that, he's a lovely guy. He's a very nice guy. He was always good with the media. He was one of the Broncos with a better reputation around Red Hill. Like he was that type of guy. So it's unfortunate just how it all played out.
You're
But
right.
he's killing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just my personal view. That's how I was seeing. I know other people think banned for the season. There's plenty of opinions out there, and people are just going to hate him. I know there's even been some racism stuff online. Like it got pretty bad, like pretty vile.
Cool. That's not good.
No, and
Yeah. I think the punishment wasn't harsh enough, in my opinion, but yeah, like it's not up to Ezra Mam to go, sorry guys, I think I should be out for the season. See you later. I'm going to Bali. Like, of course not. Like he can only do what's in front of him.
exactly, and that's the way I've seen it anyway. And right now, man, he's having a fantastic season. Like the breaks,
Yeah.
For a football point of view, has paid off for him, and he's really performing well. So I do think the Broncos are they're getting up there now, man. I'm getting excited. What my question to you was, Penrith Panthers, do they make it 5 in a row this year?
Man, I will just say as well, I'm just going to go back and say that Ezra Mam, the original stuff that he did was really bad. I just want that to be on the record. I'm not defending him. I'm just,
Yeah.
Going into the premiership stuff for the Panthers, yeah, look, I think it's the kind of year where I want to say yes. Like, if it was the kind of year like the last few where it's been like Panthers, Storm, Broncos, maybe Roosters at the top, where it's like no one else has a chance and let's not pretend otherwise, then maybe you go, sorry, Penrith, you don't have the runs on the board this year to make it happen. But I think this year they can. I think any of those teams that we listed before that are running 1 to 10 at the moment, if they're there and they hit form at the right time, I think they all can. And I think Penrith have shown this year that their best is enough. I was really impressed by that win over the Bulldogs. I was really impressed by the Magic win over Brisbane. Sorry, Dane. I was really
Had to get that in there. Just remind me.
I was really impressed by the understrength Warriors. When they didn't have the Origin guys going over to Auckland to play the Warriors. I think a lot of the issues that were responsible for that poor start, we kind of touched on it before, but the goal line defense is fixed up. Casey McLean's figured stuff out. Like, I'm really liking what I was seeing from Tom Jenkins. I think we know that when Cleary's on, he is probably the best player of his generation. So I think they can. Will they? Not sure, but I'm not sure who will. I've seen chinks in the armor from I think every team this year at some point. There's not a team where I go, well, but they can't beat X. There's not a team where I'm going, that's the holy grail team where if they knock them off, they're home and host. So yeah, I think they will, but I think it's gonna take a lot. And they've got a 3-week period where they have the Storm, the Raiders, and then the Bulldogs. And I think if they can clean up 2 out of 3 of those teams, I think 2 of them are in Sydney, one's in Mudgee of those games. If they can beat all 3 and hit finals in form, I think a lot of teams are going to be very worried to play the Panthers.
Yeah, you're right. Because I'm just having a look at the draw now. So it's Rabbitohs at home, Tigers at home, Titans on the Gold Coast, Knights in Newcastle. Then, the Storm and Raiders back-to-back. So that'll be a nice test. And then Bulldogs. So, bang, bang, bang. From 24 to 26. It's almost like finals come a little bit early. And then we throw in the Dragons to round it off. So that is going to be a big test, mate. So, but will that also hurt them? I mean, that could take it out of them. Having those big games, three in a row just before finals. It could sharpen the knife or it could go the other way as well.
And I think all those teams in that peloton are kind of one big injury away from really falling off the perch. Like, I remember last year when I think it was round 26, round 27, the Roosters lost Brandon Smith and Sam Walker in that one game, and they still made a prelim. But I think everyone kind of looked at the Roosters after that and went, "It's just not the same team." And I think if any of those teams, like touch wood, it doesn't come to that. We don't want to see a team's finals hopes go down the drain because of an injury to a key player. Like that's obviously not good. But I think in this kind of a season where it is so close, that could be enough to set you back. So hopefully it doesn't happen for the Panthers. Hopefully it happens for every other team, and then the Panthers win. No,
That's that Penrith in him. That's the Penrith in him coming out, guys. Just on that point, that is a good point you make. Like a team like the Broncos, if they were to lose Walsh or Reynolds long term, I think that'd be done. Bulldogs the same with their spine members. But then you look at the Raiders and Storm. I'd say they're probably the two most well-rounded. Like Storm have enough stars that even if one went down, like they've got someone else. Jerome Hughes stands up without Munster. They didn't have Pappenhausen again. And then the Raiders, like they're a pretty nice, well-rounded team. Like I can understand why they're there, but the question on them, I suppose, is can they do it against the other top teams in the competition? But you're right, man. It's going to be a really interesting finish to the season. I can't wait. I mean, the wooden spoon battle is almost just as exciting, right? I mean, Titans look bad, but I mean, you've got 4 teams. Titans are on 14, and you've got 4 teams on 16, just one win above them. So, it literally is anyone's game. I mean, the Cowboys could slip out on 17 and win it. So that is going to be.
It's a really interesting one this week specifically. Titans Tigers at Leichhardt, hard place to play. I reckon if the Tigers win that, the Spoon they've almost put enough distance between them and the Spoon. I reckon that'd put them 4 points clear of the Titans. Yeah, I don't know. Do you reckon the Titans have 2 more wins in them this year?
Yeah, I mean, dude, they look much improved, right?
That was just better the other night. Yeah, against Brisbane.
Yeah, and your boy Jerome pulling the strings for the Tigers. You'd think, they get there. Man, he didn't play well for New South Wales.
No, that was a shame. It's funny, you mentioned the Tigers doing better. I think there's this narrative that people in the media want the Tigers to fail, or I think the Tigers believe everyone wants to stick the boot in. Man, I would actually love for the Tigers to be good because for 4 years we've been writing, or actually longer, we've all been writing about how badly they are. Geez, it'd be nice to write something a bit different. I think people want the Tigers to do well, man. They're a big Sydney club, passionate fan base, suburban home grounds, players we like Jerome Luai and Sania Taruva. I'm just saying ex-Panthers, but it's people want that club to do well. And I've gone off topic here, but yeah,
I love it.
I would like to avoid this.
Yeah. And dude, preaching to the choir. I'm in Tiger Town. I'm in the inner west. I'm at Stanwell. I've been to Leichhardt. I've been on the hill in the afternoon. I love it, man. I love the area around here. Hey.
Yeah, it's a good vibe at the hill there. Do you pay the exorbitant prices that the tabloids always write about? I feel like every time they have a Leichhardt game, there's this is the price you'll pay to sit on the hill story.
I mean, I did use the media pass, but...
Hey, you're working. You're observing. It's research.
I am always researching, mate. I was with the people. I wanted to be with the people on the hill. And that hill is amazing to watch rugby league. I loved it. And I was with a Tigers fan. Shout out to Will Fry from Fox Sports News. I've never seen him as happy as he was that day because they actually won. I think it might have been the Titans, actually. I think it was last year. It might have been at Leichhardt. It might have been the same game.
Yeah, I remember that game. Afternoon game, I think.
And people going down the hill at the end. So
good.
Never kill suburban grounds, man. Listen, Jasper, it's been amazing, man. Covered all the Panther stuff I want to talk to you, but you do have a podcast. Well, you had a podcast.
Yeah, well, my brother and I'm a bit of a keen pub trivia attender, I would say.
So am I. I am as well, so I can relate. That's why I wanted to know more.
You got to come along. We go along every now and then. There's a sort of group of the younger sports journalists. I guess you're still pretty young, Dane. You could probably come along to that.
Thanks, mate. I'm glad I finally got an invite.
Just kidding. No, we'll get you along. I used to do a pub trivia podcast with my brother called Trivia Champ or Trivia Chump. It's currently on hiatus because my brother is an airline pilot and he's just been made a captain, so he's had a bit doing. So we're on pause at the minute, but Trivia Champ or Trivia Chump is available. I was going to say wherever you get your podcast, but we couldn't figure out how to upload it to Apple Podcasts. We were just
really?
The admin. It got too much. So it's on Spotify and a few of the others, I think. But just kind of tells you what we're working with here. It's very much a backyard operation. So a bit of fun though, and I think the trivia is good, if not some of the production quality. So Yeah, really selling it there, but do check that out if you like your trivia.
Go check it out, guys. Like and subscribe. I can't wait. I normally go around the inner west, so we're going to Newtown Cooper's Hotel this week. I think
That's
that's
a
where we're
good
going.
pub, that one. That's a
So they
good
do it
pub.
upstairs there. They sort of it's just like the second floor, and it's just trivia for that night every Tuesday. And yeah, really, we've won there a couple times. Normally has like a packet of chips
Okay.
or something. It's good, mate. 6 pack of
What
beer. There's always a new.
what are your I'm tipping sports a strength at pub trivia for you, but what else do you bring to the table?
I'm extremely good at film. I'm very
Really? Okay.
knowledgeable. Yeah, I studied my arts degree as well as a journalism degree, and majored in film and writing. So,
Oh wow.
um, yeah, I love my film. I'm a film nerd. Actually, we're getting way off topic now, but do you remember this app a few years ago, Quiz Up?
Yes, I do. I loved Quiz Up. Loved it.
So I was cracking like the top 100 in the world for film, or close to it.
Damn.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
So that was
pretty
a
good,
little.
man.
Yeah, I'm like weird with like my film. I remember the craziest one I did was actually at Vic on the Park, and they had like one of those picture things where it's pixelated, and they slowly remove a pixel,
Yeah.
and you got to guess who it is. And it
Yeah.
was like 2 pixels, and I put my hand up, Judd Apatow, and everyone's like, "What the fuck? Who knows who that is?" And it was like his Wikipedia, because I'm always like looking at films. I always go on Wikipedia after I watch a
Yeah.
movie. I read
Yeah.
reviews. I'm on
Same.
Letterboxd. Like I do all
Yeah.
that stuff. Like I'm really big into my film, and yeah, it was Judd Apatow, and I just recognized like his Wikipedia photo, and like honestly, no one should have been able to tell. It was weird, but I smashed it, brother.
Man, I had a similar one to those. I used to go with my family all the time to the Commodore Hotel in North Sydney when we lived around there. I actually don't think that pub's there anymore. I think it's being like or being redeveloped or something. And they used to do a similar mini game where it was song lyrics, and the guy would like read out, but he'd kind of go slowly. And one time I got a song from 2 words, and it was riding down, and I was like riding down a highway going to show to ACDC long way to the top, and I would have been like 18, and it was the greatest thrill of my life to that point. That was pre-premiership eras. It was
That is impressive,
yeah.
bigger than the grand final in 2023, I reckon.
Wow. It maybe. I mean, I didn't win any vouchers for free drinks that day at the grand final, so possibly.
Yeah, that's
Well,
true.
that's good. We'll get you on. What are your favorite movies then? Sorry, we're right off topic here, but
Now
I'm
we go. I
interested.
mean, if I didn't do a sports podcast, it probably would have been film.
Yeah.
But I'll just give you my favorite movie. I don't want to go on forever, but it was my favorite movie is Jurassic Park, because that's the first movie
Yeah.
I watched. That's the first movie I watched.
Oh, nice.
Mate, don't go see the new one. Jesus, they got to stop making these films,
Yeah,
brother.
really.
It's so bad. I went and
Cash
watched it by
cow, isn't it?
myself on Tuesday, and Scarlett Johansson had nothing like that movie. The script is terrible. The dinosaurs looked great. I will give it that. The dinosaurs looked
Yeah.
amazing. But the story, it just doesn't. None of it makes sense anymore. The first Jurassic World was good. Those other two is terrible. And anyway, the reason I love Jurassic Park is because that's the first movie that had like a wow factor for me as a kid. I remember watching it, the
Yeah.
music, like it still gets me going to this day, and I just love it. I've read the books. Yeah, watched that movie.
Oh,
Favorite of all time. I've rewatched it like 30 times. I went and watched it when it got re-released for like 5 or 6 years ago in like 3D in the cinema, and I love Jurassic Park, man. What about you?
Man, you should talk to Billy Eder from the Sydney Morning Herald. She loves those movies. Colleague of ours. She's a big Jurassic Park fan.
Okay.
My favorite movie. I used to say it was my favorite kids movie. I think it's my favorite movie. Full stop. Now is one called The Iron Giant. It's a
I know.
you know that one? Yeah, yeah. So it's for anyone who maybe doesn't know, it's a bit of a cult classic now. It's a cartoon by Brad Bird, the guy that did The Incredibles. He was worked at The Simpsons for a bit, so he's a creative sort of fella. And it's about this giant metal robot that crash lands into small town America during the Cold War, and he befriends this like young boy, and it's about like their friendship, but also the American government thinks he's been sent by the Russians because it's Cold War. So it's all kind of about, there's a bit of a Cold War fable, but it's also yeah, all about how we all have the power to choose what kind of person or robot we want to be, and that yeah, if you can choose to be good, choose to be good. And I don't know, I think a movie's good when it informs how you want to go about your own life, and I think yeah, that movie's done that for me. I think so. Do really like that. Back to the Future as well. Good Will Hunting. Some of the others, but I think Iron
I
Giant's
love
number one for me.
love Back to the Future. I'm massive. They're doing a musical now. I saw. I think
Yeah, I
out in
did. I don't
Sydney.
know that everything needs to be a musical. I love musicals, but it's yeah, it's a good movie. Maybe we just keep it at that. You know, I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't know.
I actually love the second one. That's my favorite one for some reason. I rewatched
Yeah.
it so many times as a kid. And then I love the third because I love westerns as well.
Yeah.
Have you seen The Wild Robot?
No. What's that?
Okay, I was just thinking the fact that you like the Iron Giant. It came out I think this year, end of last year, and it's about parenthood, I guess you'd say at the end of the day. But it's about this robot that crashes in nature and sort of becomes the mother of this like little bird duck thing. And it sounds nothing in premise, but I think I used like half a box of tissues, man. I bawled my eyes out. So
Yeah.
I'm a big movie crier, and
Man,
it really
Iron
it really
Giant.
got me.
Yeah, Iron Giant's good for a cry as well. There's some, towards, I don't want to spoil it, but it's, a bit of a sad one.
I haven't seen it
But
in a
yeah,
long time, but I remember it being emotional.
sometimes you gotta have a movie cry. You know what I mean? Like, it's a bit cathartic. You know,
It is.
you're
I
supposed
think
to
a
feel
movie's
stuff.
good. Yeah, I think a movie's good if it can make you feel that way. If you can laugh and cry as well, that's the perfect movie. Mate, all right, Jasper, I didn't realize we were going to turn into a sports trivia film podcast, but I'm glad we did, mate, because it has been a pleasure talking to you and talking all thing Penny Panthers. I hope they do go well this year. I wouldn't mind seeing the grand final for the Broncos to pip them in Golden Point. There you go.
Ooh, yeah, your revenge dish served cold 2 years later. You'd love that, mate. But we'll see. We'll see.
We deserve it. Jasper, thank you very much for joining us on Season Ticket Holders.
Thanks for having me, Dane. Been a pleasure.
Thanks a lot, mate. And thanks a lot for listening, guys. Thanks for all your support. We'll catch you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.